my dear students, and we are going to the next session of fundamentals of investments, and welcome to the revision class of fundamentals of investments. And we are starting with the first module, that is investment environment. And in that module we have to study, first of all we have to study what is investment and what is the definition of investment. And you know that investment come from savings, and savings, it is made from our income from occupation and all those things. So income is necessary for investment. At the same time, from this income we will have to spend some money for our expenditure, and the balance amount will be called as savings, and this savings paves the way for investment. And there is the chain of investment, or that is the connection between various types of investment procedure. First there should be an occupation, and from that occupation we should have some income, and from that income we should spend our money for some sort of expenditure, and after that after the expenditure we will have some savings. That savings will be invested in various types of investment avenues. So that is a procedure, and you have to study what is the definition of investment. And what is the definition of investment? It is very important to study definition of investment, because in any question you have to present the answer with the definition of investment. So we have to study one definition of investment, and the definition of investment is like that, that is, it is a conversion of money or cash into monetary asset or a claim. This investment is conversion of money or cash into any type of monetary asset or a claim on future. And one more sentence is there for the definition, and the return is for savings and taking the risk. The return is for savings and taking the risk. So that's a complete definition for investment. And once again I will read the definition. Investment means conversion of cash or money into monetary asset or a claim on future money for a return, and the return is for savings and taking the risk. Okay, and you have to study the important characteristics of investment, and there are mainly 5 important characteristics of investment. Sometimes in your question paper for 2 mark questions this question may be asked, that is the characteristics of investments. And there are that there are 5 important characteristics of investment, and they are the first one is rate of return, second one is risk, third one is marketability or liquidity should be there, and fourth one is tax benefits, and the last one is convenience. And these are the important characteristics, and these are the important things you have to consider before investing. And the first one is rate of return, and you know what is rate of return. For any type of investment there is rate of return. It may be different for different securities, and there are different types of securities like equity shares, preference shares, debentures, bonds, etc. And this rate of return will be different for different types of securities. Okay, and for any type of investment this rate of return is essential, and the investor will be ready to invest in those securities in that earns the higher rate of return. And the next one is also important, that is risk. For any type of investment there is risk. Risk means the possibility of a loss. And this risk also varies for different types of investment. Okay, and the next one is marketability of liquidity. And any type of investor invest in a security thinking in mind that it can be sold in a future date. So marketability is an important thing, and without marketability we cannot earn the capital appreciations and all those things. So there is marketability or liquidity, and the tax benefits should be there. And for some kind of investment there are tax benefits, and investors should be very vigilant to know for which type of investments there are tax benefits, and what are the different types of tax benefits or tax deductions and all those things. For some types of investment it is available. So this tax benefit is also an important thing from the investor's point of view. And the next one is convenience. There is convenience in holding a particular type of investment. How much maintenance cost and how much transaction cost would be there for maintaining and for holding a particular type of security. So that is convenience. So these are the important factors affecting the investment decisions, or these are the important characteristics of investment. And from the point of investment, or in the transactions of investment, there are mainly three important terms we have to met with, and these are, first one is investment in itself. That is the topic, or that is the point we have to study in detail. And besides investment there are two other terms also, and they are speculation and gambling. And what is speculation and what is gambling, and what is the difference between these three terms? That is investment, speculation, and this gambling. Investment means our savings are invested and our savings are blocked in a particular type of investment avenue, in a particular type of asset, that is known as investment. But the second one, speculation, means with a particular intention, that is to make profit in the future. We are assuming an increase, either an increase or a decrease in the prices of asset, and on the basis of that we are either sells the share or we are purchasing the shares, and that particular sort of transaction, series of transactions known as speculation. And the ultimate objective of speculation is to make the optimum profitability, and that is speculation. In every stock exchange there is speculation. The tradings are designed on the basis of a speculation. Okay, and when then what do you mean by gambling, and what is the difference between gambling and investment, and what is the difference between gambling and this speculation? And gambling is the extreme end, or extreme concept of speculation. And here in this gambling, the investors are very greedy. Very greedy, and they are always aiming at the maximum profit. And with this intention, they are selling, or they are transacting the securities. And sometimes the secret methods may be used by these gamblers, and sometimes they may lose completely, and they are sometimes they may be in a very pathetic situation, and they may have to suffer the complete loss. So that is the peculiarity of gamblers, and gambling is a process completely prohibited, but speculation is prohibited, and the speculation is usually done in these stock exchanges and in every security market. So there is a difference. Investment means just investing some money in a particular type of investment. That process is only known as investment. And investment, beyond investment there is speculation, and after speculation only some of the investors may go to this gambling, and gambling is prohibited, but other two processes, investment and speculation, they are completely permissible in all the security markets. So these are the differences. And next we can go to the investment environment. Investment environment. And what is investment environment? An investment environment can be mainly it can be divided into two. They are capital market and money market. And in capital market, all the securities, all the financial assets like the securities, shares, debentures and all these things are transacted. And in money market, all the monetary transactions are done. And this capital market is divided into two. There is primary market, secondary market. And primary market also all deals with the primary issues of different companies, but secondary market is dealt with all the secondary transactions, means after the public issue, the transfers, transmissions and all these things will be done in the secondary market. And stock market can also be called as a secondary market, because almost all the secondary transactions are being transacted in this stock exchanges. So stock exchanges are otherwise called as this secondary market. And likewise there are so many intermediaries in this stock market or secondary market. There are so many brokers, sub brokers, at the same time mutual fund organization, derivative markets and all those things, merchant bankers, bankers to the issue, underwriters, and all those are financial intermediaries. And ഇവരുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും കൂടി ഒരു സം ടോട്ടൽ ആ ഒരു കൂടിച്ചേരൽ അതിന് വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്, മാർക്കറ്റിംഗ് എൻവയോൺമെൻറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദിസ് യു ഹാവ് ടു സ്റ്റഡി ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് പോയിൻറ്റ്സ് one by one, and I have shown you a picture or diagram of the, when I am taking classes on this investment environment, I have drawn a diagram in the blackboard. I think that you have drawn it in your notebook also, so study it very carefully. Then the next one is, next important topic we have to study in the first module is investment decision making process. It's a very important question from the point of view of your examination. And what are the important steps you have to follow in your investment decision? Investment decisionൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എടുക്കുന്ന പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട സ്റ്റെപ്പ്, അതായത് ഒരു ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് അവന്യൂവിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് മുൻപ് നിങ്ങൾ എടുക്കുന്ന പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട സ്റ്റെപ്പുകൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് അവിടെ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, പറയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് there are, I have told you that there are 5 important points or 5 important steps. And the first one is determining the objectives of our investment. Second one, undertaking the security analysis. Third one, constructing the portfolio. Fourth one, review of portfolio. And last one, evaluate the performance of the portfolio. These are the 5 important points, steps you have to study in the investment decision making process. And the first one is finding out or designing the objective of our investment. What is the objective and what is the purpose of investing in a particular type of asset is the primary concern for the investor, and the objectives for different investors will be different. And one investor may, his objective may be to fund his retirement life, or for another investor it may be the marriage of his or her daughter, or for another investor maybe for funding or financing the medical treatments in future. So there are different objectives for different types of investors. And as regards a particular investor, that investor should see what are the important objectives of his own investment. So that's the first one. And next one, undertaking the security analysis. And a security analysis can be done only on the basis of 2 important factors. They are risk and return. These are the 2 important factors And on the basis of risk and on the basis of returns, you have to analyze and you have to evaluate the different types of securities like preference shares, equity shares, debentures, bonds, real estate, gold, and all these avenues should be in a detailed manner should be studied, and you should find out what is the rate of return of each security. At the same time, what is the risk factor contained in each security. And next one is constructing of a portfolio, and portfolio is we have studied the definition for portfolio, and portfolio is the combination of various securities in which a single investor invests his money. That is combination, that effective and efficient combination is known as portfolio, and this portfolio should be constructed, and by combining different types of securities, we have to combine an effective portfolio. And this portfolio, in the next step, this portfolio have to be reviewed. This portfolio have to be revalued. Revalued means whether it is going in the right manner, whether this portfolio is effective, whether it is obtaining the calculated pattern of returns, and what is the risk factor contained, whether any problems in that particular portfolio. All these must be evaluated and all these must be reviewed. So that is the fourth step. And the fifth one is evaluating the performance of the portfolio. Portfolio performance should be evaluated, and after evaluation, if there are some serious mistakes, this portfolio may have to be revised and new portfolio may have to be constructed. So these are the 5 important steps included in the investor decision making process. It is very simple, but at the same time it is very important, so you have to study it in a detailed manner. And the next one is investment avenues. Investment avenues, and you have studied 9 important investment avenues. 9 important investment avenues, and when I am taking classes in the first or second sessions, I have told you that this investment avenues is an important essay question. It's a long essay, and it contains 9 types of investment avenues, and also consist of what are the important characteristics, at the same time what are the important advantages, disadvantages, the various terms associated with all these investment avenues, and all these things. So it comes to be a long essay, and you have to study it in detail, and you have to understand various types of investment avenues, and you have to study the main points, then you can write it in very effectively. Okay, and first of all, the first investment avenue you have studied is non-marketable investment avenue or non-marketable securities. And the non-marketable securities, it contains mainly bank deposits, post office deposits, company deposits, at the same time provident fund deposits. These are the important types of non-marketable securities. And non-marketable security means the securities that cannot be marketed, that cannot be transferred to any other persons, and this type of securities are known as non-marketable securities. And in these non-marketable securities, the prime position goes to bank deposits, and bank deposits are so many types, and you have studied which are the important types of bank deposits and what are the peculiarities of different types of securities, or not securities, different types of bank deposits. And there are fixed deposits, there are savings deposits, there are recurring deposits. Okay, these are the important types of and also current deposit also, and these are the important types of bank deposits. And you have studied what are the importance or important characteristics of these deposits, and also the advantages and limitations of different types of deposits. And so that's about bank deposit. And the next one is post office deposit. And post office deposits are in that post office deposits, the important type of post office deposit is post office monthly income scheme, POMIs എന്ന് പറയുന്ന മന്ത്ലി ഇൻകം സ്കീമിനാണ് പ്രൈം ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദ പെക്യൂലിയാരിറ്റി ഓഫ് ദിസ് POMIs? And POMIs, it grabs a secured or it grabs a fixed sum of money from the investors monthly, and this monthly investments will be accumulated, and after the expiry of a particular period it will be returned to the investor. And that's in that post office deposits also, the importance is for the objectives of the investors in future. And one of the important thing in this post office deposits is that it is highly secured, as post office is a central government authority and central government venture. We can see that all these POMIs or all these post office monthly income schemes are highly secured. There is no chance or there is zero chance for defaults from the part of government, and that means that it is 100% secured. And the next one is company deposits. Company deposits, the corporates are allowed with the regulations of SEBI and with the regulations of central government. Some corporates are allowed to accept deposits from the public, and for those deposits a higher rate of return and a higher rate of interest will be provided by the corporates. And in that sense, it may be sometimes it may be higher than the fixed deposits in scheduled banks, and some of the investors will be ready to give deposits to the corporates. So that's about corporate deposits. So next one is provident fund deposits, and there are public provident fund deposits, and likewise employees provident fund deposits. And public provident fund can be opened by any person of India or any citizen of India. They can avail the advantages of public provident fund, and by contributing a fixed sum of money for a definite period or a definite years, he will get an accumulated sum at the expiry of that period. So that is public provident fund. It is under the direct control of central government, but at the same time there is employees provident fund, and this employees provident fund, there is an organization, there is employees provident fund organization under various state governments, and these state governments or this organization look after this employees provident fund, and this exclusively for the employees of different organizations. And by contributing a definite sum of money by the employee and at the same time by the employer, this provident fund is created, and finally it will be helpful to the investor for various objectives and for various purposes. So that is provident fund deposits. So these are the important types of non-marketable securities. Which are they? First one is bank deposits, second one is corporate deposits, third one is we have studied about company and post office deposits, and the last one is provident fund deposits. And we have studied all these factors and all these types in a very detailed manner, and all the points are given in your textbook. What are the important types of deposits? At the same time, for each deposits, what are the advantages, disadvantages? What is post office deposit? What are the advantages, disadvantages? What is company deposit, and what are the advantages, disadvantages? Likewise, provident fund deposits, what is the characteristics of these two, employees provident fund and public provident fund deposits? So You have to study the important points. You should be capable to find out the important points from your textbook, and you should study it in detail. And the next important avenue you have studied, there is a diagram in your textbook, page number 15. You are given with a diagram showing you the important investment avenues, and we have studied one by one, and in total there are 9 important types of investment avenues. And the second important investment avenue was equity share. And equity shares, all of you know what are the important characteristics of equity shares and what are the important factors determining the prices of equity shares. At the same time, what are the characteristics of equity shares, and all these things are given in your textbook. And equity shares, you know what is equity share? Equity share is a type of share which are not preference shares. That is the definition for equity shares. Equity shares are all those shares which are not preference shares, and equity shareholders are considered the owners of the company, and they are also known as, equity shareholders are also known as residual claimants, because they will get their dividend. At the same time, they will get the repayment of their capital only after the payment to all the creditors, and payment is done to the preference shareholders, and only after that these owners, that is equity shareholders, will get their capital, at the same time will get their dividends, so that they are compared, or they are also called as residual claimants. Okay, and what are the important factors affecting equity shares, and what are the advantages and what are the limitations of equity shares? They are given in your textbook, and I think it will be very easy for you to study about equity shares, because you know and you have studied it in very detailed manner in your corporate regulations textbook, so it won't be a problem to you. Okay, so that's about equity shares. And likewise, we have studied about bonds, various types of bond, and you have studied that bonds are there is a chapter allocated, or there is a module allocated exclusively for this bonds. It is in the second module is fully we are studying about bonds and how we can calculate bond, how the bond yields can be calculated. Okay, and what is bond? Bonds are usually issued by government, and usually they are considered as gilt-edged securities, and likewise it is a very highly secured, because it is issued by government, central, state, local self governments, panchayats, municipalities, and at the same time there are fixed income securities issued by company also, and they are known as debentures. Characteristics and what are the important types of bonds? There are naked bonds, there are callable, puttable, and all these types of bonds, plain vanilla bond, masala bonds, and all these things we have studied. And what are the characteristics, and what are the advantages, and what are the limitations of bonds? And the next one is money market instruments. What are the important money market instruments? And you have studied different types of money market instruments, and the most important of them was treasury bill. And what do you mean by money market instrument? All those instruments which are traded for a period of 1 year or less than 1 year is known as money market instrument. ഒരു വർഷമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൽ താഴെയോ പീരീഡിലേക്ക് ട്രേഡ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്ന ആ ഒരു സംവിധാനത്തിന് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റുകൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെൻസിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണെന്ത്? മണി മാർക്കറ്റ് ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെൻറ്റ്സ്. ഒരു വർഷത്തിനേക്കാളും കൂടുതൽ പീരീഡിലേക്ക് അത് ഡീൽ ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതൊക്കെയാണ് മെയിൻലി ഷെയർസ്, പ്രിഫറൻസ് ഷെയർസ്, ഇക്വിറ്റി ഷെയർസ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഈ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ നമ്മൾ മെയിനായിട്ട് എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഡീൽ ചെയ്ത്. അപ്പോൾ മണി മാർക്കറ്റും ഉണ്ട്, ക്യാപിറ്റൽ മാർക്കറ്റും അവിടെ ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതാണ് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കാര്യം. സോ that's about a money market. There is a treasury bill, likewise commercial papers, call on demand, and commercial bills, okay, and bills discounted. All these are various types of money market instruments, and its peculiarities: it's traded for a period lesser, either for 1 year or lesser than 1 year. That's a peculiarity of money market instruments. And most of these money market instruments are issued by government. വീണ്ടും ഗവൺമെൻറ് തന്നെയാണ് അത് കൂടുതലും എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അതിന് ഹൈ സെക്യൂരിറ്റി ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളത് ആണ്. ഷോർട്ട് ടേം ആവശ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഷോർട്ട് ടേം ബില്ലുകൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഷോർട്ട് ടേം പേപ്പേഴ്സ് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഷോർട്ട് ടേം ആവശ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് അത് എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, നമ്മൾ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ലൈക്ക്വൈസ് ദർ ഇസ് എൻ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്, അഞ്ചാമത്തത് വെരി വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു സ്കീമാണ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്. മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ടിനെ കുറിച്ച് നിങ്ങളുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിൽ കുറേ അധികം എന്ത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. എന്താണ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട് ആൻഡ് എന്താണ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്? മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട് ഈസ് എൻ ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഓർ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ പ്രോസസ് by which the savings of investors are collected or pooled together and invested in different types of securities, and the income arising therefrom will be divided among all these investors, and this is a mutual fund. Okay, മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട് എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നത്, ആൻഡ് എങ്ങനെയാണത് പ്രവർത്തിക്കുക, ഹൗ ഇറ്റ് വർക്ക്സ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിൽ അതിന് ഒരു സ്പോൺസർ വേണം. അത് സാധാരണ രീതിയിൽ ട്രസ്റ്റായിട്ടാണ് ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതിനൊരു അസറ്റ് മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് കമ്പനി വേണം. അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം ദർ ഷുഡ് ബി എ കസ്റ്റോഡിയൻ, ആൻഡ് അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം ദർ ഷുഡ് ബി എ രജിസ്ട്രാർ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മൾ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് പോയിൻറ്റ്സ്, ടേംസ് അസോസിയേറ്റഡ് വിത്ത് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ടുകൾ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു, പഠിച്ചിരുന്നു. ആൻഡ് സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് മ്യൂച്വൽ ഫണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ യു ഹാവ് സ്റ്റഡി വാട്ട് ആർ ദ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് സ്കീംസ് traded in mutual fund. You know what scheme or units are the securities, or units are the things or are the documents issued to the investor for investing in a mutual fund. Instead of issuing securities, instead of issuing shares or debentures or bonds directly to the investors, these mutual funds are issuing units. There are various units and there are various schemes of units, and by evaluating all the characteristics or by evaluating various features, various characteristics of these units, the investor can invest in these units. So if an investor is not capable to evaluate the shares and all other securities very carefully and efficiently, he can invest in mutual fund. And mutual fund with the help of its asset management company, and at the same time its custodian and its transfer agents, and along with the help of the trust, they will do all the homeworks and they will do all the calculations to find out the effective type of securities, and after that they will invest the investors' money into those securities and earn the returns, and after that earning of returns, the returns will be supplied or distributed to the investors. So that's a peculiarity, and that's a procedure for mutual fund investment. And after studying about mutual fund investment, the next important security was life insurance policies. Life insurance policies, and you have studied what is life insurance. Life insurance is not an insurance of that is insurance of നമ്മൾ ലൈഫ് ഇൻഷുറൻസിനെ കുറിച്ച് പഠിച്ചപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ചൊരു പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട കാര്യമാണ് ലൈഫ് ഇൻഷുറൻസ് മാത്രം ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് എൻ ഇൻഷുറൻസ് ഓഫ് ഇൻഡെമിനിറ്റി, cannot be compensated. Life insurance is taken for the life of a person, and that life cannot be compensated. If a particular person is losing his life, it cannot be compensated, and that's why it is not called as an insurance of indemnity. All other insurances are insurance of indemnity, like fire, burglary, accident. All these insurance are insurance of indemnity, but only life insurance cannot be termed as insurance of indemnity. And what are the different types of life insurance schemes available, like endowment policy, and likewise this maturity policies, and all there are 6 or 7 types of insurance policies we have seen. That is term policies, whole life policy, money back policy, unit linked insurance policies. When insurance policies are linked with the units or mutual fund schemes, it is known as ULIPs or unit linked insurance policies. So they are the important types of life insurance policies. And the next one was the 7th one was real estate. Like mutual fund, you have studied what is real estate. Real estate means all those land and everything attached to that land, building well, all those agricultural lands, that is farming houses, estates, and all those things. They are called, sum total of this is called as real estate. And what is the peculiarity of real estate, and what are its advantages and what are its disadvantages, and how it can be maintained, how it gives some type of sensitive and some type of emotional attachments in the mind of a investor, and all these things we have studied. But you have to study real estate very carefully, very neatly, and there are some important topics in real estate. And the next one is precious objects. And precious objects are mainly first of all you have studied precious metals like gold and silver, and at the same time there are some precious commodities like ginger, pepper, soya bean, and all these things, and likewise there are some precious items like crude oil, petroleum, and all these things. All these items comes in the purview of precious objects. Gold, silver, what are the peculiarities of gold and silver, what are its differences, and you have studied it in detail. And finally you have studied one important type of investment avenue, that is financial derivatives. And you know, and in various other subjects also you are studying about this financial derivatives. And what do you mean by financial derivatives? Financial derivatives are all contracts relating to the future period, and the investors can enter into these future contracts just to escape from the deviation, or just to escape from the variation in the prices of various financial assets as well as various other commodities. So that is financial derivative, and there are so many types of financial derivatives like forwards, futures, options, and all these things. That is financial derivatives. And the financial derivative markets are functioning along with the stock exchange as a part of a stock exchange, and all the settlements are separately done. All the settlements and all the transactions are separately done in a separate wing of the stock exchange, or it may be sometimes they may function independently without the help of various stock exchanges. So that is financial derivative. So these are the important 9 important avenues of investment. Which were they? Non-marketable financial assets, second one equity shares, third one bonds, fourth one money market instruments, fifth one mutual fund schemes, sixth one life insurance policies, seventh one real estate, eighth one precious objects, and the last one is financial derivatives. Okay, and after the studying those investment avenues, we are going to the problem section of investment. Mainly we have to calculate the rate of return of investment, rate of return as well as expected return on investment, and also we have to calculate risk. That is the problem side or problem area of your first module, that is calculation of risk and calculation of returns. So this can be, we can see in the next class, and with this I am concluding this revision class. Okay, thank you.